Hello ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to be talking about why you should stop whining about your training. So life doesn't really respect your training schedule. This is a video about something called externals. This is a relatively new term for anything which gets in the way of people's training. Now generally this term externals refers to things which happen outside of the gym, outside of the training environment. And these are things which have interfered with what's happening inside the gym. This is a relatively new term that I've only seen in the last few years, especially on social media, but I have heard it being spoken in the gym. And it's a way of people justifying what they think is a suboptimal performance, or saying, look how well I did despite these externals. So a few externals, so let's list a few of them. It could be bad sleep, could be one of them. It could be that they're under stress from work or uni or anything similar to that. It could be that they were traveling or they were out with friends. It could be alcohol, could be all of these things. Now, you can call me old-fashioned, but we never used to talk about these things as externals. We used to call them something called life. And life is what happens, famously, when you're busy making plans. So life doesn't really respect your training schedule. And it seems to me, obviously this is from my anecdotal point of view, that the people who complain most about externals are the ones that have least to complain about. So I'll explain that statement. It tends to be the under 25s that use this term the most. Not exclusively, but generally it is. When you're at that stage in your life, what's happening is you have a lot of new experiences. You're doing a lot of things for the first time. And a lot of the time, those things are stressful because you don't have life experience to deal with them. Like your first job, like moving away to university. Suddenly your social schedule might change. The reality is that these people actually have less to worry about. So as you get older, you generally, not everyone, but generally, you build on layers of responsibility into your life, be it having pets, long-term partners, mortgage, kids. As you get older, a lot of the time, your job takes on more responsibility. So at work, you're more responsible. Your working hours often get longer. And it seems to me that the people who are older in these positions, they tend to go on about externals a lot less. I think it would help if people thought less about training being rigid. So at the moment, what's happening to a lot of people is they think about the training as this like rigid tunnel. And externals are things which are poking in and affecting it. So every time something doesn't go completely optimal, something has come into that tunnel of training and just thrown it off slightly. You're then giving power to all these external things which are happening to you by justifying it this way. My personal opinion is you're better off thinking of it like a river, and the things which are affecting you are stones being dropped into that river, and all you have to do is move around them and flow past them. It's easier said than done, and I think a lot of the time it comes down to the fact that it's common now that most people have a coach, and there's nothing wrong with that. But often they see what's written down on the paper or the program or whatever they're looking at, and they have to do that. Whereas the reality is there's an awful lot of flexibility built into a training plan. And coaches, and I try and do this myself, try and make flexible decisions. So an athlete might message me and say, I can't do this because I'm tired, or I need to drop a training session this week. And it's like, no problem, let's do this, this and this. And there are always things you can do. Maybe you just drop the volume for a couple of weeks because someone's particularly stressed. So instead of doing 6 sets of 3, they just do 3 sets of 3 on the same load. Okay, so they've halved the amount of volume they're doing. The reality is they're not probably going to lose much in that time. Might even get stronger because they're going to respond to a bit less volume and they recover a bit better. There are always changes you can make to a training program to help move around these boulders, this stream of life where rocks keep getting thrown in, you're never going to get a time when there's nothing else affecting you, okay? We're not professional athletes. This isn't our job to be training and doing these things. We can't afford to be ignoring all these other things. If you're a professional athlete and you're earning millions and millions of pounds, money can solve a lot of these problems. You can have nannies, you can have dog walkers, your partner doesn't have to work. But it doesn't solve all of them, because even professional athletes are going to have things thrown at them that they have to absorb into their training. Injury, illness, loved ones getting sick. You can't legislate for everything. So being more flexible and going with the flow and thinking of it as life and you adapting to it, I think that will help more people, rather than letting these externals bash in and affect things too negatively. I know this might come across as a middle-aged guy whinging about young people, and I suppose there is some truth to that. But really, I'm trying to use this as a positive thing, that you can think about things differently, and actually that'll make your life easier. That it'll make it mentally a bit more easy to deal with if you just know things are going to go wrong and you accept things are going to go wrong. Not every time something goes wrong, go, oh, it's the end of the world. What am I going to do? That's my opinion. I hope this is helpful to you, to think of it like this. If you just think, the old man is wrong, let's just crack on, fine. But that's my opinion on the matter. Okay. I hope that's helped, and thank you for watching.